Big news! NASA and Boeing team up to develop sustainable aircraft design. NASA has partnered with Boeing to design the next generation of environmentally friendly aircrafts. When two space and aviation giants announce a joint venture, it sounds fascinating, doesn't it? In this video, we will talk about the details of this project. But before we dive into the details, I would like to request that you subscribe to the channel. Subscription is an excellent way of supporting the channel, and I really appreciate all the support you send our way. So a big thank you for that. Alright, so NASA and Boeing are partnering together for a greener flight technology, something which they have called the Sustainable Flight Demonstrator Project. The joint venture between the two companies has been finalized through the Funded Space Act agreement. Through this project, both companies will build, test, and fly a single-file airliner. Ambitiously enough, they plan to do this by the end of this decade. The aim of this new airliner would be to drastically reduce carbon emissions. NASA has set out an initial deadline for 2028 for testing the first prototype of this new Boeing airliner. The airliner has been called the Transonic Truss-Braced Wing concept. This new airliner will be able to cater to almost 50% of the short and medium-range commercial flights in the near future. So, now that we know when we can expect to see the new aircraft in action, what exactly is this new aircraft, and how does it reduce the carbon emissions? The new transonic truss-braced wing design essentially consists of long, thin wings, which are stabilized through diagonal struts. These diagonal struts connect the wings to the fuselage. It has been known for quite some time that if the aspect ratio of the wings was increased, it would streamline the overall design. However, the implementation of this design required advanced materials and construction technologies. This innovation in overall aircraft design can be better executed if NASA and Boeing decided to take risks together. The risks required for this huge undertaking were frankly too much for a single airline company to take. This plane has been aerodynamically designed to reduce air drag, which will result in more fuel economy. NASA and Boeing are looking at up to a 30% decrease in carbon emissions. NASA aims to integrate other green technologies so that by the year 2050, we have a net zero of carbon emissions. The deadline to take net carbon emissions to zero has also been laid out by Joe Biden's administration under the US Aviation Climate Action Plan. But why design single-aisle or single-file aircrafts only? The reason NASA and Boeing wanted to design a single-aisle aircraft is that almost half of the carbon emissions in the aviation industry can be explained away by the carbon emissions of the single-aisle aircrafts. Most of the airlines rely on these types of aircrafts for their short and medium-range flights, gearing towards transporting medium hauls. This does not mean by any stretch that both of these aviation giants are not testing similar technology on larger aircrafts. For instance, the new gigantic Airbus A380 airliners are flying with 100% sustainable fuels. This is great news for the planet, but bad news for the company, since the Airbus A380 is not in high demand due to its high operational costs. This means that Boeing has stopped the production of these massive aircrafts, which also include the Boeing 747. The decision to go for single-aisle aircrafts was strategic, since Boeing estimates that these aircrafts will increase in demand by 40,000 between 2035 and 2050. All of this will come at a reduced carbon emission rate, which NASA aims to drag to net zero carbon emissions by the same time period. Another goal of NASA with this new aircraft is to improve aviation technology by the time we are in the new decade. NASA has painstakingly worked in the past to improve aviation technology and to make planes safer for air travel. NASA has also ventured towards introducing green technology in the aviation industry. One shining example of this endeavor is the prototype of the X-57 Maxwell electric aircraft. Examples such as the X-57 electric aircraft show how far NASA has gone to ensure the production of safer, faster, and more efficient aircrafts. A 30% reduction in the overall carbon footprint in the aviation sector would be a huge step towards a more sustainable environment. However, this does not mean that the technology is already here. The more revolutionary a design is, the longer the testing phase will be dragged out too. This means that ambitious designs, such as these, must be thoroughly tested and inspected before it is deemed safe for air travel. The testing process will be excruciatingly long and detailed, but the passengers will be the eventual beneficiaries of this process. NASA will contribute $425 million towards this project, while Boeing and its partners will funnel almost $725 million. It is hoped that the new experimental aircraft will foster the design of new reduced carbon emission airlines produced by other companies. Both NASA and Boeing have made a point in emphasizing that this aircraft will be experimental and not a commercial airliner. Both of these tech giants are trying to prove that this new technology works. Do you think that NASA and Boeing will be successful in this venture? Feel free to comment in the section below. Press the like button if you really enjoyed the content. Thank you for watching till the end. Catch you in the next one.